The Los Angeles Clippers have made a complete 180 after a month into the James Harden experiment. They started off being 4-7, ended up being 7-9 overall, and ended up being 11th in the Western Conference. There were a lot of conversations about how this trio of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden just wasn't working out, and this was going to lead to just another expected first round or second round exit for a Los Angeles Clippers team that undoubtedly for the last couple of years have been pretty much a disappointment in terms of where they were going to end up, because as we know, this team was hyped up to be a team that was going to eventually win a championship. Well, since these last few weeks, since dating back to November 17, the Los Angeles Clippers are actually now 22-6. And if we even shorten that to the last 20 games, the Los Angeles Clippers are now 17-3. And the 3 losses that they played, Kawhi Leonard didn't even play in 2 of those games. They have made a complete jump from what they were in the first month with James Harden to since November 17. This team has been easily playing like the best team in the NBA, having the second best net rating dating back to November 29th, and the best offensive rating in the NBA. This team has been just destroying other NBA teams. Their offense is just completely unstoppable. Their defense has been stellar, and that has to start with the 3 stars in James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. What's changed? Because a month into the James Harden experiment, people are already talking about how this was a terrible trade for them, but now they're arguably the best team in the NBA. This big 3, all 3 of them are having their most efficient seasons in their NBA career. So right now, all 3 of them are playing very, very well, and they've gelled really quickly early on. And they started off really bad, but now they're just rolling. They're looking like, honestly, the best big 3 in the NBA. So what were one of the changes? Well, one of the biggest changes I think everybody knows was they swapped Russell Westbrook from the starting lineup for Terrence Mann. And the reason why this was such a big change, and I feel like this needs to be brought up, was because now James Harden would have to be the primary orchestrator of the offense. The problem with Russell Westbrook being in the starting lineup with James Harden is they both are more effective when they have the ball. They're orchestrating the offense. Russell Westbrook as a starter or as the primary PG is really good with the Los Angeles Clippers, but when you add James Harden now into the team, now they have to share the ball a little bit, but you also still have Kawhi Leonard on the court. You still have Paul George on the court. So to instead maximize both of their talents, one of them had to go to the bench, and Ty Lue decided that Russell Westbrook would have to go to the bench, and Harden would have the full reign of the offense. And we're just seeing what they're doing, because they're just destroying other NBA teams. And it isn't like they're playing bottom feeder teams. No, they played the Phoenix Suns, the New York Knicks, the Dallas Mavericks, the Pelicans. They've played some really, really good teams in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves, some of the top teams in the NBA. And they're still steamrolling through a lot of these teams. And look at James Harden since he's arrived on this team. He's averaging 17 points, 8.5 assists, 4.7 rebounds, but shooting 46% from the field, 42% from 3 on about 6 attempts, 65% true shooting percentage. Ridiculous efficiency from James Harden. And it isn't like he has the ball a lot either. Yes, he has the ball more than the other players on the team, but he isn't dominating the ball like he used to in the Houston Rockets. He's running the offense primarily through that pick and roll and setting up a lot of his teammates like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George through a lot of Spain actions, a lot of double drag, pick and rolls, and other sets like that. One of the biggest things that's always brought up with this Clippers roster, dating back to 2020 when they first paired up Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, was about them being flawed initiators in a sense, right? That they need a point guard. That's why they went out and got Rajon Rondo. That's why they went out and eventually got Russell Westbrook to be that mediator in between those two, to have one guy to be able to set them up. Well, as we know, James Harden is one of the best initiators in the NBA, even still now. And arguably, because of what he's done and his contribution in being able to set up Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they're both having their most efficient seasons in the NBA. They're both shooting ridiculous percentage from the 3, and they both have a career high in true shooting percentage because Harden's able to deliver it to them in their best spots. Scoring is all about rhythm. Harden helps them be able to get to their spots easier, and because of that, I think it's why the Los Angeles Clippers have just made a complete 180 over this last stretch of games, and they've been the best team in the NBA in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard is having one of his most healthier seasons so far into his career. He's played the last 34 or 38 possible games. So Kawhi Leonard has been having his healthiest season in a long time. And he's performing very, very well. As we know, Kawhi Leonard had one of the craziest 13-game stretches where he was the first player in NBA history to shoot 60% from the field, 50% from the three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line over a 13-game span. Just a complete dominance of show from the isolation as a scorer, and just incredible efficiency despite the level of volume. Kawhi Leonard, as we know, is still a superstar, and as we know, is having an MVP caliber level of season now that he's having the games played be as well. I'm not advocating for him to be an MVP, but he's playing like one, undoubtedly. And this has to be mentioned because, as we know, Kawhi Leonard is very injury prone. That's been one of the biggest issues about the Los Angeles Clippers over the past couple of years. Is Kawhi Leonard, is he going to be healthy enough to be able to play in the postseason? Not just the regular season, because as we know, that's been an issue for Kawhi Leonard dating back all the way back to his last couple of years on the San Antonio Spurs. That's been an issue with Kawhi Leonard. The biggest thing will be, can he be healthy come postseason time? Because the questions about Kawhi Leonard has never been about his game, because he's still arguably the best scorer in the NBA, still one hell of a defender, still a very good initiator, and that's good enough to put you arguably as a top 5 player in the NBA. So the things about Kawhi Leonard, questioning him hasn't been no issues. Honestly, some of those questions have been about Paul George play, because he also has injuries as well, but his play recently has been kind of crazy as well. He's been playing like a complete off-ball maestro. I remember when Doc Rivers was talking about Paul George being a Ray Allen type, and I'm not going to here advocate that he's been that completely, but his off-ball play has been very excellent next to James Harden, and he still gets his pick and roll chops as well, but his ability to run around off ball screens and catch the ball and be able to go create his own shot has been one of the best things that's happened to this Los Angeles Clippers offense, because these three, and I'm specifically talking about the trio, have very, very different skill sets, but they work so well next to each other. You have James Harden, who still has his scoring chops and being able to hit step back threes and create his own shot in that fashion, but he's going to be mostly creating shots for others such as Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and set them up. You have Kawhi Leonard, who's that dominant isolation scorer who's going to be able to get his buckets in a vast many different ways. You have Paul George, who's more of that off-ball scorer who's going to be scoring coming off the catches and on the move now, and still be able to get his stuff in the pick and roll. Very, very different skill sets from all three of them across the board. Very different creation skills from all three of them that just work so well. And because I think they're so different and how they be able to put the ball in the basket and be able to create for others, I think that's the reason why they've been so good, despite their depth being very, very good, because I have to mention that as well. I have to talk about Russell Westbrook, who's sacrificed for this team coming off the bench, because him as a starter on the Los Angeles Clippers before James Harden got there, he's been playing very well, but he decided to come off the bench for the betterment of the team. And of course, we're seeing how good they've been. Honestly, the only real issue with this team, and the only real issue that we've always had with this team, is health. Because just their play, just how this team plays right now, I don't see much of any team really beating them come postseason time, because they've been that good. I just don't see a defense that can really stop this team and be able to hinder them, because they just have way too many weapons that you have to deal with, even outside of the big three, because the big three are going to create so many mismatches for themselves that you have to deal with. And then you still got to deal with the other pieces that's on this team. It is just way too crazy. And I'm not going to lie, I was a disbeliever of this fit at first, but man, they have made me have to completely change my viewpoint watching them, because honestly, I didn't think they'd work this well. I didn't think they'd work this well this soon either, because after that start, I thought, hey, this is what's expected. And then since how they've been playing since November 17, yeah, I don't think there's a team in the NBA that's better at the current moment. And honestly, there might not be a team better come postseason time. So let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think, and just let me know if you guys think this Los Angeles Clippers team at this current moment can win an NBA championship, because at the end of the day, that's the biggest goal for this group. That's why they brought in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and eventually traded for James Harden, because at the end of the day, they want to win a championship. Will they be healthy enough for that to happen is still to behold, but at the current moment, for the sake of the argument, let's say they are healthy. Let me know in the comment section below, can this team, as they are, win a championship? Let me know that down in the comment section below. And before you guys leave, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that post notification bell to always be notified whenever I upload more videos, because to start this new year's, like I said, I'm going to be far more consistent. So make sure you hit that post notification bell to always be notified whenever I upload more videos. And with that being said, your boy Dream Hoops is out, man. Peace.